So now we've begun the process of annotating our drawing. We have placed some dimensions. The next annotation tool we're going to look at are tags. A tag is an annotation for identifying elements in a drawing. Every category in the family library has a tag. Some tags automatically load with the default Revit template, while others you need to load. If desired, you can make your own tag in the family editor by creating annotation symbol family. I have made my own tags for this project. This is something that we cover in the intermediate course. The reason being is the Revit tags just aren't up to scratch. They don't display a lot of information, and so you won't get the full benefit of using the tags. Within a tag, there are what are called labels. And that label will look for information about that family. And the information for the family is within the type properties. So for example, if I zoom into the door here, if I select my door, go to edit type, into the type properties, in here are all the type parameters with the values. So when we place the tag will look for information that I specify. So for example, I can specify that I want my tag to look for the width and height of that door. As well, I come up for further information like a description about the door, what type mark, and so on. So all the tag is doing is looking for that information, and then it displays it for us in a tag form. So to access the tags that I have made, at this point you should have downloaded the files like the PDFs and so on. So in there is a folder. The folder's name is tags, and we have 3 different tags within the folder. First tag we're going to look at is the door tag FR. So what you need to do is double click on the door tag, and that will bring you into the door tag family editor. So again, for the introduction course, I'm not going to go into a lot of detail about how we construct these, but just quickly, each piece of that text is not simply just a piece of text. It is an actual label, and that label is looking for information that I specify. So to load the door tags into our project, we'll come up to the main ribbon here, the modify panel. And we have 2 options. We have load into project and load into project and close. If we wanted to further edit the tag, you'd simply just click on load into project. It'll do so, and this drawing will remain open. If we use the load into project and close, it's going to load the tag into the project and it's going to close down this drawing. So that's what we're going to do today. So I'm going to select on load into project and close, and then press escape. So now our tag is in the drawing itself, and now we can start the tagging process. We'll go to the annotate tab. There we have a tag panel. What we're going to be looking at today are the tag by category and tag all. So if we use the tag by category, it'll tag individual components as we select them. As long as we've correctly attached the correct label and specified the right information, the correct tag will appear. Of course, we're able to do this a lot quicker, and the way we do that is the tag all. So we select tag all. And here's where we'll specify what tags we want to be displayed. So first one there are the door tags, so we'll tick that on. And because we've now loaded the tag into the project, it's the first one that's displayed. But if you select it, there's a drop-down arrow, and those first 3 are the default ones supplied by Autodesk. Then we simply press apply, press OK, come back to the drawing. So you can see each individual door now displays a tag. So what we need to do now is we need to add some more information to the actual door type itself for that to then be displayed in the tag. So you can see here we've got 41 at the top. We have our width and height, so they're correctly displayed, and a question mark at the bottom. So first off on the top where it says 41, what I want to be displayed there is the actual type of door, so the door type. And when I selected, we labeled it DT-01. So I want DT-01 to be displayed there. And to the bottom where the question mark is, I want my fire rating to be displayed. So next we'll select the door. We can now go to edit type, and in here we're going to enter the information. So here in the type properties, if we scroll down to the type mark, there's our 41, which is being displayed at the moment. So when I created my tag, the first label that I specified for my door type, I told my label to go to the type mark in the type properties and display the value of that parameter. So the value of the parameter type mark is 41. So I want you to highlight that and change it to DT-01 for our door type 1. Press OK. Now you'll see the tags for all of our door types DT01 will now display that information. Next is the question mark, which is my fire rating. So again, we'll select the door, select edit type. And for the tag, I told the tag to look in the identity data and specify the fire rating. So there is an actual parameter for fire rating included in this door. So we just simply need to add in the fire rating itself. So there we go. Fire rating is FD30S. Press OK. And there again, we'll see our tag is displaying that information. And again, because all of these DT01s are all the same type, so when we change one, all of them update. And then we'll move over to door type 2, and we'll do the same as we've done with door type 1. So we'll select our door, go to edit type, and again, I told the door tag to look for the type mark and display the information, and that's DT02. And you'll see both door types 2 now display that information. And again, just update the fire rating to FD30S. Since we typed the fire rating in already for 1, if you hit the arrow key, it will be displayed. So we can then select it from the menu. And then lastly, we have DT03. So again, select the door, edit the type, scroll down to type mark, change to DT-03. While you're there, you can also change the fire rating. And then we can adjust the position of the tag. Again, I go into a lot more detail about tagging in the intermediate course. So it's just a brief introduction about tagging in the intro course. So next, what we can do is change the information here for our external door. So what we can do is we can select the double doors in the curtain wall. And I go to edit type, same process, go down to the type mark. And this is an external door type, so I'm going to call it EDT-01. And this will not have a fire rating, so I'm going to just add in a full stop just to get rid of the question mark. Now, obviously, the correct way to do this would be create a brand new tag and just remove the fire rating label. So the only information in the tag is the door type and the width and height. So you'll just simply remove that label from your door tag. Again, that's something we won't cover in the intro course. So to select the tag and shift it down using the arrow keys. And same with the other. So next we're going to do the exact same, but for the window tag. So if you go back into the folder and open up the window tag, and then simply load it into project and close. And once you've done that, then go back to the tag all, which is in the annotate tab, tag panel, select tag all. Then the last one is our window tags. And again, since we just loaded in the window tag from the common drive, it's displayed for us. So then press OK. So now all the windows are tagged. So we'll just select each one just to get them in the correct position. So once the tags are rearranged a bit clearer, come back down to the bottom section here, and we need to update the information. So currently we're just getting a 155 and 1810 by 1210, which is our width and height. So we need to add in a label first. So we'll select our WT01 window, then go to edit type. And again, we'll come down to the type mark, and then we'll type in WT01. Within the type properties, go down to identity data type mark, WT01, press OK. And now you see all of the WT01s have been updated. So we can do the same for the WT02. Same back down to the type mark. And then it's also updated. So next is the information at the top, which is 1, 16, 2, 17, 18, 3. So a component has two different types of marks. It has just what is called a mark and a type mark. So the difference between the two is a mark is specific to that singular element. So this window here has its own specific mark, which is 1, which in the properties is 1. The next mark is 16, and there's the identity data is 16. So each individual window has their own mark, but as a type, so this is window type 1, which is the 1810 by 1210, they have their own, as a group, they have their own type mark. So when we changed our type mark to WT01, every single one of them updated. So it labels them as a group, as a type mark, and then each individual window has a mark. So how it starts with 1, this one is in a 16, the next one is 2, is this was the first window that I inserted, there's the second window that I inserted, and this is the 16th window that I inserted. So that's how they're labeled. So what I want to do is I want to select each of the windows and change the type mark to W.01 for window 1. And we have W.02 for window 2. W.03 for window 3, and so on. I'm going to run around the building and do the same thing. The reason is so later on we're able to reference each individual window. So we started with window 1 and worked our way around and got to window 25. So when we create our own tags in the next class, I will show you how you can create a sequential tag. So we'll place one, and then every time we place an additional tag, it will automatically update. So saving us doing this in the future. So next we can also insert the wall tag. So we go back into the folder, open up the wall tag and load it into the project and close. So now we've inserted the wall tag into the project. So next we're going to do something a little different. We're going to go tag by category. We'll place our tag on a couple of walls. As you can see, before I actually click to place, I get a preview of my tag. And currently there's a leader attached, so I don't want that to be attached. So I come to the options bar here. There's my leader. I'll just untick that. So now when I hover over the wall and get the preview, the tag doesn't have a leader. So I'll do the same for just a couple of partitions and the external wall. The information that the wall tag is looking for is again its type mark. So what we can do is select our external wall, go to Edit Type, scroll down to the type mark, and if we have our wall type as A, they will be displayed within the tag, and our partition will be B. You can see the other tags have been updated. You can open up the PDF 024 tags, which will display what we've just done. So if we go over to the first floor plan, and again, we can tag our doors, our windows, and the walls. As you can see on my plan, I'm able to see the light fixtures on the ground floor. So again, to turn that off, come to Underlay and select None. And then all at once, I can select Tag All. I want my door tags and my window tags. Press OK. And again, I can go tag by category to place some wall tags. And then it's the same process of just running around the building, adjusting the position of each of the tags. So on the ground floor, our last window was window 25. So we'll change this one to window 26. And we can work our way around the building again. So next we're going to be placing rooms which we can tag into our model. We have built actual rooms in the model. The software doesn't understand that it is an actual room. So we must place what is known as a room within the room itself. So to place a room, we'll come back to the Architecture tab, our Room and Area panel, and there is our room. So if we select that, in our Contextual tab, we have three options here. We have Place Rooms Automatically. So any room bounded in the model by walls, floors, or it'll automatically generate a room within that space. The issue with this is, like we had earlier on with the ceiling, sometimes the bounding of the room is a little off. So there's a couple of examples of that in this project that we'll show you. So next we have Highlight Boundaries. So that highlights all the bounding elements in the current view. And the last one there is Tag on Placement. So whenever we place a room, it will automatically be tagged. So what I'm going to do is zoom in on the actual room itself. So the room itself is the actual blue line and the X in the center. So that is the actual room itself. So to get started, if we come over to the top left-hand corner room, you see when I hover with inside that bounded room, I'm able to place the room itself. So you do that blue line is hitting each one of those partitions and the external wall, as well as going around the architectural column. So I'll click to place. Once I've placed the room, the tag is automatically generated and it displays the number 1 room. It also gives me the area in meters and square feet. So that is the tag, and the room is the X, and you can now see it's highlighted in blue. So that is the actual room itself, and the text is just the tag. So if you wanted to select the actual room, if it's not displaying when you're running the cursor around the tag, again, just hitting the tab key will display the room. So next I'll place another room. And while I'm placing the room, you can see the tag gives me that temporary vertical dimension, which is just telling me that the tags are now aligned. I can go to the next room. So once I know that the room itself isn't spitting out into another room, I'm happy to place it. And so this room down the bottom right is the one that's going to give us some trouble. So when I place the room inside the bounded room, you can see that it's spitting out into the lobby. So again, the reason being is the architectural column. Where the architectural column meets the external wall, the boundaries just aren't meeting correctly. So if we press escape, I'll show you how to get around that in a few moments. But first, we want to come back up to the room 3. So in a scenario where you have an office space, if we had an office that was shared by 2 different companies and there wasn't a physical barrier or physical wall between those 2 offices, what we can do is we can add in what's called a room separator, divide that room up to give us those accurate readings. So in the room and area panel, we have room separator. If we select that, again, we just have the same draw panel in our contextual tab, and the options bar, again, same features that we should be aware of by now. So what I'm going to do is just draw a room separator just right across the center like that, just denoted by a dashed blue line. And now if I hover my mouse around to try and find the room, so there we have one room, and that tag is displaying the information for that room below, so I'm going to move it down. So there's the room now cut into 2 using the room separator. And this room now just requires an actual room to be placed. So I'll select room again, and now I can place it. So now we have 2 separate rooms, but within the same office. So with the room separator, we can also use that to help us out down here where the column meets the external wall. We can use the room separator just to give an edge to that corner, like so. So when we've drawn in that edge, when we go to place a room, the room separator will stop the room from spilling out into the lobby. So now we can go place our room. And now we see it's not spilling into the lobby itself, so we can now place it. If you accidentally delete the tag, or when you place your rooms, the rooms aren't tagged automatically. So you can see the room still exists, but there isn't a tag. In the room and area panel, there's our tag room. So we'll just go and place a new tag over the room. So next we come back up to room 1. The tag itself is just from the tag family. It's a specific type. So if we select the tag, come to our tag properties, we have a couple of different variations of what we can display. So we have just name and number with both areas, name number with metric areas, or name only. Again, this is just simply a tag created in the family editor, so we can create our own at a later date. And if you wanted to change the information on the tag, select it, and once it's highlighted in blue, then just click on the text. And so what we're going to do now is we're going to name each one of the rooms. And how I want you to label them is to double up on some of the rooms. So room 1 will be storeroom. Room 2 will be office. Room 9 will be office. And 3 will be office. And 4 will be meeting room. And room 7 will be toilets. And room 10, I'll call canteen. So we'll do the same for the first floor. First, we'll place our rooms. Again, we're going to call it meeting room. Office, toilets. Now we can say common room. We're going to place a legend on the plan, which is a color-filled legend. So it's going to color code all of the rooms. So to access that, we'll go to the Annotate tab. Second last panel is a color-filled legend. First two legends are for the M&E side, so we will skip over those. Last one is the color-filled legend, so we'll select that. Ladies, attached to my cursor is the actual legend itself, so I'm going to place it down below here. And then we're asked for a bit of information. What do we want the legend to display? So the first one is a space type. So the type that we want to display are the actual rooms themselves. And then the color scheme. What do we want it to be by? Do we want it to be by the department, by the room name, or the room number? So we want to go by room name. Press OK. It's calculating. So let's pull all the information that we have displayed in the tags. It's displayed in the legend, and it's now color-coded each of the rooms. Again, we can select the legend to shift it down into place so it's a bit tidier. So there we can see the offices have the same color, storeroom is different, meeting room, toilets, and canteen. If you're not happy with the colors, we can, of course, change that. So we'll go to our legend, we'll select our legend. In the contextual tab, we'll click on the Edit Scheme. First column here, this is where we can go back and change the scheme if we want. So if we're not happy with by room, we can change the category to space and the HVAC zones if we wanted. And then by department, room name and room number. So same as we had done before. Next, we can display whether or not we want it to be visible on the legend. And then we can change the color. We can also attach a fill pattern to that if we wanted to. So right now it's solid. We can make that a hatch, crosshatch, and so on. And there's a preview of the colors that we've chosen. At the top here, we're able to change the title. So I'm going to change my title to Room Legend. And press OK. You can do the same for the first floor. Again, color fill legend. Click to place, change it to rooms by room name. Press OK. Again, this is represented on the PDF 026 color fill. So after we've created our room legend, we can also create a room schedule. To create a schedule, you have two options. Either go to the View tab at the top. In the Create panel, we have our schedules. First one there is the schedule/quantities. So we can either click on that. Or in the project browser, there's a heading for schedules and quantities again. Just right click and we'll click on New. So when we do that, we'll be shown the new schedule dialog box where we'll choose what category we want to schedule. So we want to do the rooms, so let's go then to rooms, select, and press OK. This will bring up the schedule properties. And in here we've got a series of tabs. And within each tab, a series of information that we need to input into the schedule, which will then extract it out of the model to display in a schedule. So the first thing there, it's asking to select the available fields from, where do we want them to get the information from, whether it's the room information or the project information. Right now we wanted to extract from the room information, which we placed earlier on. So below here, we have the available field, which contains the information about the room. And what we need to do is to go down through the list and select the information that we want to be displayed in the schedule, which will be displayed here on the right-hand side. So the first thing that we want to be displayed is the level. So we'll select the level. And then with the green arrow in the center, we'll select that to bring it over to the right-hand side. We also want to display the name. Again, we'll bring it over. We want the area to be displayed, the count, and any comments that we want to make about that room. So you notice all of the other different types of fields that are available to us. We can enter that information in the actual room itself. So if we select the room, go to the properties, we can enter that information about the room, which we can then extract out of it using our fields here. So on the actual schedules that will be displayed, it is done in order. So if they're not in the correct order like I have here, it's not a problem. Just select the field that's not in the correct place and use the arrow keys to shift it into place. So once we're happy with that, we'll then press OK. It'll generate our room schedule. So first thing at the top, you'll notice it says room schedule 2. The reason it has room schedule 2 is because when we placed our rooms earlier, automatically Revit will create a room schedule for us. It doesn't display a lot of information. So that's why we wanted to make a new one. So we can just right click that and delete. If you want to change the heading, we can. I'm going to put on my caps and call it room schedule. The schedules themselves contain a lot of properties very similar to Excel. Or if you run quickly through the ribbon there, we can adjust the columns, the rows, the title and header, the appearance, and so on. So we're going to be creating a couple of schedules, be it a room schedule, door schedule, and a window schedule. So with each one that we will create, it'll be a little bit more advanced than the one before. So with this one, I'm going to leave all the information as it is. All that we're going to do is just change the actual appearance of the schedule itself. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to add a nice thick border to the header. To do that, we'll come to the appearance panel, and there's our borders. We'll select the borders. There's our line styles. Earlier on, we created a DPM. So if we wanted to create a different line style again, we'll go back to the Manage tab, change the line style, create one there, and it will be displayed in this box here. What I will do today is just use the wide lines and select outside. So wide lines and outside, and then press OK, and so you get a nice thick box around the outside. As well, selecting inside the cell, I'm going to add in some shading. I will bring up my color box, choose the gray, and press OK. As well, I'm going to click on A and drag to the bottom corner there just to highlight all of the cells. Again, I'm going to go to border. For this one, I'm going to change it from thin lines to medium lines just to beef it up a little bit. Again, choosing outside and inside. And press OK. As well, we want to select B, C, D, and E, and we're going to change the alignment. So first we'll change the horizontal alignment to center. And as well, you have the option to change the vertical alignment to top, middle, and bottom. So we'll just leave that as is. So that there is the first schedule we've created. That's our room schedule.